Hey YouTube, so the time has come where I had to finally admit that I need a new toolbox. And I had a toolbox strategy where I have an old, what is it, Mac MB 1500, which was a big rollaway from like the late 80s and early 90s. And of course toolboxes have gotten huger and huger since then. And since professional level toolboxes cost what they did, I have avoided buying a bigger professional level toolbox. And I had come up with the strategy where it's just going to buy a series of smaller tool carts to fill the space needs I had. And that didn't turn out the way I wanted to. And let me tell you why. So the first cart I got was made by Torrance. It's got channel lock written all over it. It was a good deal. It came with a bunch of tools, which I use regularly. But in the course of just light usage, the drawer slides started to fill. This one won't open up all the way anymore. Don't know why. It's also stiff. And this one opens up all the way, but it is a pain in the butt to get open all the way. And again, it too is stiff. The second rollaway I got was from Harbor Freight, this US General. And in truth, it's not bad at all for what it is. But there are a couple of niggling things that I do not like about it. The first is that no matter what, in order to open up any of the drawers, you must pull back on this plastic slide. Every drawer's got one of these plastic slides. And you can't just grab the drawers from anywhere. You have to grab it on the side. For heavier drawers, that means you're always going to be pulling from one side, and that's going to cause the slides on this thing to prematurely fail. The second thing I started to realize about having tool carts, some tools are just bigger than your drawers on these things. And as you can see, I started to run out of room on where to put stuff, and the bigger the space you have, the more likely you're going to stack things. I'm like, geez, I just want a 1/4-inch torque wrench. Where'd I put it? You know, if it was on the bottom, I'd be digging. And so at some point, I started to realize I just need to get a bigger toolbox. And so that's what this video is going to be about. My epic investigation onto what professional level toolbox to get. And then it came down to, which one do I want to get? And so I started looking and looking and looking. And I wanted features of a professional level toolbox, like my Mac Tools or a Snap-on toolbox has. What that means is very sturdy drawers, very sturdy box, very sturdy drawer slides, very sturdy wheels, spring-loaded if possible, so that if I have to move it, the tools don't vibrate all over their place, and secondly, it doesn't destroy itself while going over uneven surfaces. So I started looking around, and here's what I found out. So I started my quest looking for a new toolbox by going to the big box stores. And what I saw at the big box stores was kind of interesting. Generally speaking, I saw the low-end boxes. Every manufacturer was kind of like this. They had a real base level box it holds tools, but it's not actually meant to have the drawers open. Do you know what I mean? So those cheap guys are ruled out automatically. Then they have a mid-grade box, and the mid-grade box that covered, gee whiz, everything from about $800 through about $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. And the mid-grade boxes, they had a couple of things going on with them. They tended to have fewer drawers for the size. And the drawers that they had tended to be only open up to about 18 inches. And you think about it, well, okay, you got a lot of metal going on in one of these 6-foot-long boxes. And there's a few ways you can cheapen things on up. If you make the box physically narrower, okay, then you can use lighter weight slides. You can get away with thinner sheet metal. And then in order to cheapen things on up, you put fewer drawers in there. And the problem with fewer drawers is that just like what I showed you on one of my tool carts, if you have a big fat drawer, you tend to stack everything. And then when you're stacking everything, you can't find the tool you're looking for rapidly, and it gets old fast. Secondly, the intermediate toolbox drawers, while they did tend to have detents, sometimes the detents were plastic, and those will fail at some point. And at other points, they didn't double up the drawer slides on their larger drawers always on every drawer. They might do it on a big top socket drawer, but nothing else had double slides, or not many drawers had double slides. And then the slides that they used tended to either be 80-pound slides or 100-pound slides. Pro level boxes have at least 120-pound slide. That's what you'll find in the Snap-ons and the Macs, the Matcos, and such like that. So those kind of pushed me off from the medium-sized box, and I had to go on an arc. I wanted to spend the least amount of money, but I was going on an arc, and I started going, you know, I have a 40-year-old Mac toolbox that the drawers are still like butter, and it's been used in a garage for decades. So I decided I think I'm just going to buy a professional level box. And when I made that decision, it was like hitting the ball further down the fairway, in that you suddenly meet a whole new class of people. So what can you expect when you're looking at a professional level box? Professional level boxes, the drawers are going to be typically made out of 18 gauge steel. The slides are going to be doubled up on darn near everything, every drawer except for the very narrow drawers, like maybe 2 inches and narrower drawers. The slides are going to be 120 pounds. Slides, they are going to have a mechanical detent that's not plastic. It's either going to be some kind of a spring or a latch that goes all the way across, so you can grab the drawer from any direction in front and pull it open and get past the detent. Other things that you can expect is the sides of the box are going to typically be 16 gauge steel, and inside, where you never see it, they're going to have 16 or 14 gauge steel stiffeners. And you're going to have an upgraded wheel that's not going to get dented with literally thousands of pounds of tools in the toolbox. And you're going to go see a 6-foot box start weighing in the neighborhood of north of 800 pounds. So if a medium grade box is in the neighborhood of about 500 to 600 pounds, and a professional grade box in the 6-foot long range is going to be north of 800 pounds. It's just a lot heavier built. It's made for daily use. The casters on these longer boxes, they're always going to give you an option of having 3 sets of wheels, 2 fixed in the middle and 2 spinnies on the corners, so you can spin the box around easier. On the professional level ones, on the Mac and the Snap-ons, those tend to be optional. You can also get stainless steel tops as options, which are nice work surfaces. And it's typical to bolt a vise down onto a box this big, because it effectively becomes a mobile workbench. And so these are the kind of the features that you start to expect. Oh, and then you also get a lot more drawers. You got a lot more drawers, so you're not stacking the smaller items on top of bigger items and so on and so forth. And the idea behind this is the more drawers is you can rapidly get to fetch your tools faster, and so you can work more efficiently, so you're not fiddling around digging in your toolbox looking for your tools. When I was shopping at the big box stores, one thing I did notice is that Husky, for example, had a super heavy duty toolbox. It was only a 42-inch that they had on the floor, but that was a professional level toolbox. And it was nice, but it was too small. And when I inquired on how much a bigger box would be, I really didn't get a whole lot of help. And so I went hunting around and looking for this super heavy duty box, and I found the same box line at Sears, Craftsman branded. And I liked what I saw, this 6-foot box. It was a 21 drawer box, and it was obviously modeled after I'm not making this up, a 13,022 drawer Snap-on box. obviously modeled after a master snap-on box, and the similarities are striking. I mean, check this out. Okay, so here is the price of the $13,000 suggested retail Snap-on box on their website. Okay, here's a blue one that I found used on Craigslist. This guy is asking $8,000 for what amounts to a 1.5-year-old box. He does have on it a $1,000 option, which is the stainless steel top, and I'm like, wow. Here's that same 22-drawer Snap-on box used on Amazon for $6,599. And I might note here, it says light scratches on exterior due to normal wear and tear. Well, the local guy on Craigslist, from the photos, it looked like it was in better condition than light scratches. So, all right. The 21-drawer cabinet, it lists for, what is it, $3569.99 on Sears website, okay? And the same box here on Amazon with Williams name tag on it. Now, Williams is a serious tool company. You probably have never heard of them, but they're owned by Snap-on, and Williams makes all of the industrial, big, heavy Snap-on branded tools, okay? It used to be sold like Blue Point and stuff like that, but this is all the kind of black stuff. That's Williams, and Williams so they're a serious tool company. But here it is with Williams logo licked onto it on Amazon, and they're selling that same box as Craftsman for $5,969. Unbelievable, huh? And then here's the same box being sold at Home Depot for $2,499. Now, truthfully, you can find that same box on Amazon with free shipping for like $2,579. And here's a thought I had when I decided I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to buy a sight unseen toolbox over the internet. Is I wanted, if something went bad, I wanted to have a local company I could go at least kick and talk to. So I decided to go with Home Depot. I have a Home Depot over in Bemidji, and so if there was a problem, at the very least, I can go to my local store and say, hey, here's the problems. So I went for a box that was $2,499. I paid an extra $75 for curbside shipping. For me, that's just the fuel factor. You know what I mean? Just me going to Bemidji and back would cost me, $75 in fuel in my truck. And if for $75, if they're willing to ship the darn thing to me, more power to them. More power to them. You know? So at any rate, there's quite a wide range of prices depending on whose logo's on this and whose boxes for $2,499. It's international. Who's International? International's a toolbox manufacturer based up in Canada, and their super high heavy duty box is their highest end box. Right below that, they have a pro level, and then below that they have a tradesman series, and I think they've got something even below that. So they have 4 tiers of boxes and a whole family in each one of these tiers. And as you look at them on the internet, you'll notice from their base models, they're big toolboxes, but the base models have fewer drawers, thinner sheet metal, weaker slides. And then as you move up in their lineup, you'll see that they get more drawers, heavier sheet metal, heavier slides, and then you hit the pro level. They have a pro level, which is kind of like a prosumer level. And again, more drawers, heavier slides, better wheels, and whatnot. And then you finally hit their super heavy duty, and that really is the professional level series. And so that's International's lineup. So now it comes down to, what does this thing look like when it shows up? Well, I tell you what, the shipping statement says that this thing weighs 850 pounds, and I can believe it. It was a bear to get in here, and it is well packed. Now, I don't know if there's any dents or anything in here, but it comes on a double wide pallet, and it is fully enclosed in wood. So now I've got to tear this thing apart and get get at the toolbox.